Well, hello, everybody. It's Friday. Here we are, ready for a support call. I'm Stephen Carlson, and the topic of the group release this week is going to be, what is it going to be? What I have written down in my notebook is freedom from choice. I don't think that's exactly how I titled that on the invitation, but this is the heart of it. Very often we tend to think that, well, more choices, that's going to be better, isn't it? But the reality is that choices can be overwhelming, and that's something that many of us are facing, dealing with. So let's just drop into that and see what we come up with. Just notice what comes up when you think about all of the choices that you need to make, all of the decisions. And now, you may think I'm talking about big, important life choices, and that could be what's coming up for you, but it could also be the choices of 7 different kinds of coffee, right? All the different brands in the supermarket. It could mean the freedom that you have because you're unattached, maybe unemployed, maybe financially independent. Even that, having all the money you need, can raise more choices. So just notice what that means for you when you think about choices, decisions. And then pay attention. How's it coming up in the mind? Very often, little movies playing out in the head, stories, memories. Could also be what's happening in the body, anxiety, nervous tension, constriction. You might even call it painful. Just notice what's happening in the body. When you think about choices, decisions. And let's just allow that a little bit more as best you can. Just open to it. It's here anyway. Can you give it permission to be like that? But then notice also how much you want this to be different. Notice that desire to control the feelings, the thoughts, all that's coming up in relation to choices, decisions, freedom, apparent freedom, which carries that burden. You have to choose. Notice also, does it seem personal? Is this about you, your choices? And then, when you're ready, could you let that go? Would you let that go? Are you willing? When? So back to the beginning. Most of us would think that having more choices is a better thing, right? But the reality is, very often that is not how we feel about making decisions, having choices, that kind of flexibility. You may find yourself longing for clear direction, restraints, certainty, rather than all of this loosey-goosey freedom. Just notice what comes up. Take a deep breath or two and allow it to show up. You have to decide. You have infinite choices, and it's all on you. That's really the feeling, isn't it? So just take a breath or two and be with this just for a moment longer. Probably not what you want to do, but try it and see. And then notice that desire to make this different, make this feeling go away. Notice the resistance. And then once again, go back to the original feeling. You need to decide. You have choices. You have an infinite variety of paths to choose from. Just see how that shows up in the body. Notice what's happening in the mind. And then notice also that big no, the pushing away, the resistance. Then when you're ready, check and see, does this feel like you, your story? Does this feel personal? And whatever the answer is, could you allow it? Just breathe into it. And then when you're ready, could you look right through this? Just notice, is any of this actually you? Are you those feelings? Are you these thoughts? Are you whatever's happening in the body? Or are you simply aware of the body's reactions? Notice the mind, how thoughts come and go. And just as best you can, could you allow it? Give it space, just as it is, just as it seems to be, and just for now. And could you rest as that awareness of all that is? Just allow yourself to be. And if there's anything remaining, any sense of hold back, push back, any holding on, any constriction, any no, could you just let that go? Would you? And when? Well, good. We have a number of hands up. I'm glad to see you all here. I also see a few new faces. Good to see you. So this is a support call, and the idea is that you can raise your hand and ask a question. You can share a gain if something is going well. That's also useful. It's also part of the process. And if you'd like some one-on-one help, then here I am. So I'm going to start with Raina. I didn't quite pay attention to the order in which you raised your hands. I'll make my best of it. I ask for forgiveness. Raina, would you like to unmute and say hello when you're ready? Raina, did you hear me? Would you like to unmute and say hello, or you ready to? Well, I'm not seeing a response. I'm going to skip to Michael for now. Raina, we can come back to you. Michael, hello. Would you like to say hello?
I sure would. Thank you very much, Stephen. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon, probably, if you're in
the
UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. What's on your heart today?
Oh, I'm at my parents'.
Oh, yes!
Oh, and I'm looking for, like extenuating circumstances. what I can get away with, what would the jury let me away with? Um, yeah, like, what the fuck? Seriously, yeah. They were supposed to be away for a couple of days because I said I need some quiet time. Back within 24 hours to do something for my brother. Like, you've got to be kidding. Like, I was like 2 days, soul silence, this will be amazing. It was going really well. Text message, oh, we need to come back. So, yeah, just furious.
So that's what's coming up is anger. Can you
Yeah, yeah,
allow that? And since we're talking about your parents, right?
mm,
Could you give yourself permission to feel that way just for now?
yeah,
And since we are talking about parents, isn't there also possibly that other voice that says, you shouldn't feel this way?
yeah,
Well, since that's here as well, would you give it permission? And just breathe into it and let it open up. And don't forget to breathe. So, Michael, on a scale of 1
mm.
to 10, and 10 is the most intense, of course, how much intensity is here?
Um, I'm going to say like a 7 or an 8.
Is that the best you can do? These are your parents, after all.
Yeah, I'll go for that just now.
Okay. All right, then. So, does this feel personal?
Yes,
Yeah. Could you allow it? Just allow that to be as personal as it seems to be.
yes,
And check now, is there any desire to fix this, figure this out, make this different?
yes,
Mm-hmm. Well, if that's what's here, can you also open to that?
yeah,
Just ride with it for a moment, yeah.
yeah.
Mm. And let's see, is it possible? Could you let this go?
No,
Uh-huh. Would you? Are you willing?
no.
Good, good, good. And then when?
Never.
I just want to point out, by the way, those are excellent answers. The no's are always, well, often my favorites because there's a freedom in that no as well. Let me just check in with you. Where are you now, Michael, or what's coming up?
Rage.
Rage. And could that have permission?
Yes,
Mm-hmm. And just in the secret of your mind, could you just allow the most extraordinary fantasy of rage, what you would do? You don't really have to do this, obviously, but just allow that in your mind's eye and feel it in all of its physical expression. Just notice the body in particular. When you allow that fantasy of rage, just give it permission.
Not quite yet. No.
Not quite yet, giving yourself permission to feel this.
Yeah.
Not quite yet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Right. Well, there's a lot of no's here because after all, you shouldn't, right? There's judgment.
Yes.
Just notice that. But I do
Yeah.
have a question to ask you now.
Sure.
As you notice all of that judgment against the self, doesn't that piss you off?
I don't know.
Well,
I
okay.
can't answer that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let me ask you what's here right now.
In the throat. Yeah. Stuff in the throat.
That's the
Yeah.
expression of it, yes. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
so could you allow the focus really to turn entirely to what's happening in the throat and in the rest of the body? Let's just work with
Yes.
the body for a moment, yeah?
Yeah.
Take an inventory, really. Just look around the body. There's the throat, but what else is going on? Maybe tension in the head. Could be this part of the body here, all the way from the throat to the groin. Just look around.
Yeah.
And by the way, while we're here, I'm just going to invite everybody else to follow along. In case you've ever had parents, family, these kinds of emotions. So, Michael, are you okay? Have a picture of what's happening in the body? Is this?
Yes, I have.
Uh-huh. So let's just play a game. What if all of this had no meaning or no sense or no story whatsoever? Could you just let go of wanting it to mean something?
No, I really want it
No?
to mean something. Yeah. I really want it to mean something. I'm really not enjoying that question at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then notice that reaction and just
Yeah.
lean into it. Give yourself permission to feel that way.
Yeah. Can you ask me the question again?
Sure, all that's going on in the body, could you let go of wanting it to mean anything?
Oh, I really don't like that at all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, no, that's horrible. Yeah. Can you say it again?
Okay, all right. And just allow all of the horribleness to be here as best you can. Notice what's happening in the body,
Yeah.
all of its intensity,
Yes.
everywhere it shows up. And just for now, could you let go of wanting this to mean something?
Yeah, I really want it to mean something like hugely, hugely.
Right, right, right. But just notice the release that comes from
Yeah.
acknowledging that. Of course. That's a huge clue. Yeah,
Yes.
right. And notice also what's happening in the body. Is it the same as when you started?
No.
Mm.
The throat's still there though.
Mm-hmm.
Still in the throat. Yeah.
Notice how much you want that to be different.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then notice the feeling in the throat.
Yes.
And then notice the resistance. Mm-hmm. And then the feeling in the throat.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then the resistance.
Yeah.
And then one more time, the feeling in the throat.
Yeah.
Hmm. And what about welcoming both? Is that possible? And just breathe it up, both that feeling in the throat and also any resistance to feeling that. Could you just breathe it up and allow it to be here? It's here anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm. Notice also, is the body the same, or is it shifting, or is it...
It's a change.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I'm also not worried. I'm also like, yeah, I'm not 100% happy about it either. Like, I am, I've not had my retribution.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shall we take a slightly different approach?
sure.
Okay, so just notice what you have called rage. Notice how the body is activated. Notice all of the mind and what it does.
Yes,
And then when you're ready, notice also, isn't there a kind of sweetness to this? Isn't there a kind of savoring it? Isn't there a
yes,
kind of, there you go.
of
Could you
course.
just lean into that and savor it as much as you do?
Oh, can you see that again?
Doesn't have to make sense, but could you savor it and just enjoy it as best you can?
Can you see the full sentence about Sarah enjoying the whatever it was you said, like
I
the,
don't remember. I don't know if I remember exactly what I
oh
said.
yeah, savoring the resentment and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Sure, 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 sure. So just notice everything in the body, of course.
yeah,
Notice everything that you called rage, and notice the mind and all its reactions.
yeah.
But then also notice that little taste of sweetness, secret enjoyment. It's part of the holding on. It's just that nurturing of rage. No, you can sense it. Could you
Yes.
just allow yourself to open to that and savor that secretly if you want, but just savor it.
Oh my God, I'm busted. Yeah. Can you ask me again?
There might also be just a little bit, when you said that,
Yeah.
a little bit of judgment for feeling this, right?
No, no, I'm
No,
really
okay,
excited about
good.
this. Can you ask me again?
Of course I can. So just notice everything that's happening in the body.
Yeah.
Have a good look around. Notice the throat. Notice anything else in the core of the body, the head tension, all of this. Just take a moment
Yes.
and notice all of the thoughts. Notice everything that you've called rage.
Yes.
And then notice also that sweetness, that secret enjoyment. And lean into it. Just allow yourself.
Oh my God. Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. Oh boy. Can you say it again one more time?
Of course, of course. Actually, I have to tell you before I do, though, that I was with my parents this last week. And would you be
Yeah.
surprised to hear that rage
Yeah.
also came up? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
what you're feeling right now may feel very personal. And just notice that it does.
Yeah.
And notice
Yes, very
all
much
of
so.
what's happening in the body and the mind. And that secret pleasure, that secret enjoyment, could you lean into it and just savor all of this? Just as best you can, allow it. Lean into it.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh my gosh.
And if you really want to take this to the next level, are you ready?
Yes.
Well, you mentioned that your parents came back early, or they've communicated that, right?
Yes.
Could you allow yourself to feel gratitude for that and all that is coming up?
Oh no.
Well, again, no, let's just play with it a little bit. Notice, of course,
Okay.
all of the feelings that you've called rage, all of what's happening in the body, all of the thoughts, all of the turmoil, right?
Yes.
And then notice also the sweetness of it, that secret pleasure, the
The
intensity that that brings
grievances.
up,
Yeah, the grievances.
grievances. Yeah, 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 exactly.
Grievances.
Right. And you're feeling this, of course, in reaction to the parents because you're visiting, right?
Yeah.
So, what if you could actually feel gratitude for this provocation, which brings all of this to the surface?
Oh boy. Eh,
It may not be something the mind wants, but it certainly has a reaction in the body.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Parents and
Wow.
family do have a way of bringing things up, don't they?
Wow. This one is, yeah, this is, I don't know. I just had this really, I made clear that I really needed some quiet time. And they were like, yeah, it's fine. And then they had to go away anyways. That was fine. And then I was just like, I got a text message and I just get this rage was like so, yeah. So very, very powerful.
Right. Well,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. It was amazing.
excellent of you to
Thank
bring that
you.
up. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
put your hand down for now and then, oops, there we go. Whew. Well, Raina, are you ready to unmute and say hello? Are you there? This is a strange situation. We started off with four hands. Now we have just one hand up, which is Raina, who's not responding. So then, what else could I say? If anybody else wants to step in and say hello, ask a question, share a game, ask for a little support, I'm here to help.
I'm also quite happy to keep going if you want.
Okay.
If no one else wants to, but why don't we leave it a minute, and then if no one puts their hand up, I'll do
Well,
another one.
we could actually, so yeah, I will share a little bit, Michael, which is that I was also at my father's, we didn't have a funeral, but a celebration of life. And that brought everybody together. And wow, it brought up a lot of tension and a lot of anger and a lot of emotion. So I'm with you. What you have asked is exactly what I have also been working through. And I invite anybody who has parents, who is probably everybody on the call, whether they're alive or not, it doesn't really matter. They're just feelings. And so let's all sit for a moment with those feelings about parents and just notice whatever it is that comes up about parents. There can be a lot of anger. And there can also be a lot of judgment about that anger. I see Ronnie has raised his hand. Would you like to unmute Ronnie? We can work a little bit together if you'd like.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you. You're a little bit, maybe you need to speak into your microphone.
Yeah, I tried to do my best. Yeah, I thought because everybody was lowering his hand, that's a possibility of peace. Put up my hand.
Oh, it's hard to understand you.
Okay. I would just park the car.
Ah,
That's the problem. Then I would just normally. Park the car. Can you hear me now?
I can.
I can. But then it's good again. Now, I was riding in the car, and then I thought, okay, I will just listen. Everybody was raising his hand. Then I thought, okay, it's lowering his hand. Then it's a possibility.
Welcome, Ronnie. Good to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for the release. And what you can help me with is I did already release on it a lot, but still I just have a problem with communicating with my roommate and with my ex. And I don't know why. Sometimes every time if I'm doing that, a lot of uh, angriness, a lot of bad things come up.
So
And I better say it like that.
I heard that you're having problems communicating with your roommate.
Yeah, with my roommate and with my ex.
The same person?
No, it's
Two different people.
two different persons. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So anger is coming up with these communications. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
All right then. I'm hesitating because I feel a sneeze coming up. Just give me a second here.
No problem.
That's a release as well. Okay. So just
Yeah.
notice all that comes up when you think about this. You can think about a recent story, incident that happened with these people. And notice all that's coming up for you in the body,
Mhm.
in particular. And notice also the mind and how it reacts, any kind of thoughts, stories, memories. And let me check with you, Ronnie, which is the strongest of the two, the body or the mind's reaction?
Um, it's really difficult to say sometimes. Today it also happened, and
Uh-huh.
it's just that I feel then the tension is building.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, I really need to take a lot of effort to stay calm.
Okay. All right. So let's just work in the body for now. Let's just focus entirely on what's happening in the body. So just notice, have a look around. where is the body reacting? There may be, just give you a few ideas. Look in the head, any kind of headache or constriction.
No, that's normally sometimes not the problem. What I normally will do is I think I will maybe breathe faster
Yes,
or
right.
something like that. So it's without thinking or without really noticing it at that point. That's what I'm doing.
So it's obviously the breath is a big part of it. But is there anything going on like tension or something painful or anything, for example, from the throat on the way down to the crotch, the groin?
No,
No?
somehow I don't remember that thing. It's more.
Okay. All right. Well, so what you said is useful. The breath is very often a sign of a change in emotions, right?
Mhm.
As you
Yes.
said, when you're angry, you're breathing in a certain way, right?
Yes.
So here's a very simple trick that you can use, and this is something useful to everybody else perhaps. There absolutely is a connection between the breath and the emotional state. Anger is obvious. We can all understand that. So this works in the opposite fashion. What I mean to say is that just as the emotion provokes the breathing can also provoke the emotion or change the emotional state. So that's what I'm recommending to you right now, is just to take deliberate, slow, deep breaths. Just that in
Yeah, that's also
itself.
something that I'm doing sometimes normally when I'm meditating. But
Mhm.
in that situation,
Right.
that is really difficult. But I understand that's better.
Well, also, in addition to doing that, could you just notice what's happening in the body and notice what's happening in the mind? And as best you can, could you give it all permission to be like that just for now?
Hmm.
Yeah. Along with that slow, deep breathing. And then check for the resistance. Check for the fighting, the agitation, if there's anything there that comes up.
It's more that I like to think in. To think in solutions. And
Okay, then the mind is active.
yes, in the end, my roommate, when he says something, then, for instance, today he was pointing about that I was forgetting something.
Mm-hmm.
But he always forgets everything. So I don't
Right.
understand why he will say that, because then I can point out really a lot of other things instead of just being nice with each other.
So I see
And
what's
that's the same
happening.
also. That's
Yeah,
the same as I also have some with my ex, that I really don't understand some why you are doing certain kind of things
right.
that are not reasonable and
Mm-hmm.
logical.
Right. Okay. So you notice the mind now is
Yeah.
actively trying to figure things out, trying to understand, and maybe even
Hmm.
having imaginary conversations, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so notice that mental activity And notice
I think
also,
that's the thing, that if you're now noticing it, that's the thing what's happening. It's really my mind, that going
right, right, right.
like a Formula One car.
Exactly, yeah. Well, so what can help us is to break it down a little bit. So the mind is trying to figure things out. That's right.
Yeah, it tries to, but it doesn't understand. It's not. It's not.
Well, let's help the mind a little bit by putting things in a way that the mind understands, right?
Mhm.
So the mind is trying to understand what? The reactions of other people, right? But these are emotional reactions. They don't make sense.
Yeah,
They don't need to make sense. They never will. Yeah?
yeah. That's the thing. So much. It's about so much the reactions,
Yeah.
but I also like to go somewhere
Okay.
to with both noses to the same direction. So just to have a nice time,
Uh-huh.
and that's uh, impossible.
Right. Right. So notice that the mind is trying to help. That's the most important part of all of this. Do you see what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I'm understanding it totally.
Right. Okay. But what it's doing is also not helpful.
Also.
Right. But yet, the mind is putting tremendous energy into trying to help.
Hmm.
Right? So normally what's happening is you're trying to control this, fix this, stop this, deal with this. Am I right?
Hmm.
Right.
Yes.
How's that working?
Doesn't work.
Right. Right. The mind, the more that you try to stop the mind from doing this, what happens?
Hmm.
It just tries harder. So let's do the opposite, just for now.
I, I have to say something, Simmons. What it helps
Hmm.
is that we are not fighting.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But then it helps.
Yeah. And when you say we are not fighting, you're talking about who?
Now, for instance, my roommate and yeah, for instance, if my ex will be there, Simmons, because I'm staying calm and it's in my mind.
Hmm.
We are not fighting, for instance, with fists, or we are not fighting so much with words. It's still calm. That's what I mean. If I really would express myself then yeah, I don't know exactly what will happen.
Well, if you would express yourself with words, what would you say?
Not a lot of nice words at that moment.
Oh, I see. Right. So what you're saying is that if you did say something, it would be emotional and probably a bad provocation.
Yes,
Hmm.
because I'm not so much in the calmness then.
Okay, then. But that person isn't here and you're not having a conflict with that person right now.
Hmm.
But you still feel the anger and the agitation?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, so that's not even real, is it? It's happening in the mind.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Uh-huh. And again, it's happening because why? The mind is trying to help.
Yes,
Uh-huh. Well, from that perspective, could you be grateful? Could you allow yourself gratitude for the mind?
that's something I can do. Yeah,
Yeah. And what happens when you just thank the mind, when you feel the gratitude?
gets quieter
That's
in
the
my mind.
ninja move. That's the one thing that nobody wants to do, but that's what's effective, yes.
Hmm.
Right. If you try to stop the mind works harder. If you thank the mind, appreciate the effort,
Hmm.
how would anybody respond? They can relax. Notice what I'm doing with you, by the way, is I'm actually expressing these things in words and talking you through it rather than doing process. Because I'm speaking
Yeah.
to the mind. The mind actually needs to try to understand these things, and here's an
Mhm.
explanation that the mind can find satisfying. Do you see
No,
that?
I'm understanding it. I'm also
Yeah.
getting it.
What's that? Can you repeat that?
No, I'm understanding it and I'm getting it.
There you go. There you go.
Mhm.
So it's interesting also, we can observe something else as a group here. Michael's reactions were happening physically, and very often anger is on that level of the body. What's happening with you has to do with the mental activity of the mind, trying to figure things out in advance, going through these dialogues, right? Making up conversations. It's on the level of fantasy, actually, but the mind is trying to help in that way. Do you see?
Yeah, it's more similar that only with those persons it doesn't work. With
Well,
all other persons, then I have normally in a very good conversation. That's more similar the thing that I'm getting.
well, so
And
yeah, but
I
these
like to
people.
change that similar. So that's the thing similar that's getting there. That's also why I'm having the conversation.
Well, here's the question: do you really need to change it?
Mm.
What if you can actually deal with every situation in the moment? What if you don't need to work out a strategy in advance? That's the mind's
Hmm.
attempt to help. You know, it's going round and round. Maybe you could say this, maybe you could say that. What if this person does this? What if she says that? Right?
Yeah, I'm getting it,
Well,
but
if that's not
if
helping, what if it's possible to actually deal with these things in the moment?
Mhm. I'm also having that, but still every time in the moment,
Yeah.
it's like before. That's a little bit
Oh,
what
but
I'm getting.
that
So
that sounds a little bit like a story to me. And let me
yeah,
be clear about what I'm
it's
talking
not a
about.
little bit, but it is a story.
Well, sure. You know, it's always like this. When you hear the word always, that's a clue that you're talking about a story.
Hmm.
I mean, you can probably think of examples of where you reacted in the moment and it was appropriate.
Hmm.
And then you can also find examples of where your reaction maybe wasn't the most appropriate.
I think it's more similar that maybe some of my reactions are appropriate, but still I don't like some that my mind is going like 5,000 kilometer an hour.
Mm-hmm. Well, so can I recommend something then?
Hmm.
Yeah. When the mind is going 5,000 kilometers an hour, then what that means, I suggest, is best to take a time to yourself to sit down and just love the mind for trying to help.
Hmm.
Rather than trying to stop it, just recognize it's trying to help.
Okay,
Well,
I'm
but we
getting that.
can do it right now. In fact, we've been doing it. So just let me
Mhm.
just check and see what's here now for you. Is there still mental activity like that?
No, now not. Now it's quiet.
So this is going to be recorded, and I'm sure you know where to go to find the recording. It may be useful to
Hmm.
go back again, but this could be a very simple and useful practice. Just notice what's coming up in the moment, and when things are getting intense, can you match the intensity of the mind with gratitude for all
Hmm.
that it's trying to do to help? That's really the key to it.
Okay,
Yeah, cool.
nice practice.
I hope that's useful. Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and, if we're done, I'm going to ask you to mute. And
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for a good question, Ronnie, because we've worked at two different aspects of anger.
That's true.
So I see that Betty has her hand up. Let me just check and see. Raina, are you here or not?
Sorry, I went to get the package and I guess I missed it. Yeah.
Welcome back. Okay, good. Is there something you'd like to work on then? How are you?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I want to work on the fear of separation. Yeah.
Fear of separation. Is that what's here right now?
Yes.
Okay, then. Are you willing to open a little further to that fear?
Yeah.
Right. And can you feel that fear in the body?
Yeah, my heart is heavy.
Okay. So could you drop into the body and just allow it all to be like that for now? Just a moment longer.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And take a few deep breaths. Yeah. And let's check. Is there any desire to make this different? Any resistance to what you feel?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. For a moment now, could you just lean into that desire to change it? Feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to the fear of separation.
Yeah.
And then notice the resistance to that feeling, how much you don't want this.
Yeah. Still a lot.
Right. Notice also the difference between the two. Allow yourself to feel that fear of separation. And notice it all in the body,
Mm-hmm.
how it appears.
Yeah.
And then notice what happens when you lean into your resistance to feeling that, how much you don't want this. Feel that as well.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then when you're ready, just notice how personal this seems to feel.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And since it seems to feel that way, could you allow even that? Open to that.
Yeah.
And if you're ready, could you let this go?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And would you let that go?
Yeah.
When?
Right now.
Mm-hmm. So what's here now?
A lot more space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll keep going, but thank you.
Is that enough for now, or do you want to go one more round, maybe?
Maybe one more round.
Maybe one more round, okay. Sure. So just notice how the body reacts to that feeling, that thought,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the fear of separation. And just notice the intensity that comes up.
Yeah.
And then notice also that resistance, how much you don't want to feel this way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And then notice also the sense that it's about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this time, let's try one additional level if you're open to it.
Yes.
Mhm. So could you welcome again that feeling, that desire, the fear of separation?
Yes.
Now this might be a little bit of a stretch, but can you feel into the sweetness? There could be a sweetness to it. I'm looking for a better word, but could you imagine this as pleasurable, as delicious?
What? Oh.
I know, crazy, but just because we can use our imaginations,
Mm.
what if this were just the feeling that you've been waiting all of your life to feel? Can you welcome it with that kind of...
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
It's like you want to feel into every little last drop of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what this really is an intensity of sensation in the body. And we choose to say, I don't like this, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, it's really just the intensity of sensation.
Yeah.
What you can see, though, when you resist it, that's
Yeah.
when the intensity becomes really unpleasant,
Yeah. Hi.
right? And when you do the unthinkable, when you welcome it
Mm.
as pleasure, oh!
Yeah. Oh.
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah.
And just so I can, just for everybody else, it's one thing for you to hear this as a concept, because we just did this with Michael at the beginning of the call. But it's so different to actually experience this for yourself, which is what you're doing right now, Raina. So
Do you think about when you do this, do you think about like different aspects of why this is sweet? Like why separation is sweet? Not necessarily.
no. The mind wants to engage and help in some way, but
Yes.
it tends to gum up things a little bit. It doesn't.
Uh-huh.
Here's such a big important clue for everybody here. Emotion doesn't have to make any sense. It never did. It never will.
Mm.
It's not rational. It doesn't need to mean something. It doesn't need an explanation.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty big. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's just go a little deeper. Could notice what you have called the fear of
Yeah.
separation. And could you
Mm-hmm.
welcome this as your dearest friend
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and just open to experiencing all of it just as
Mm.
deeply as you can?
Yeah.
And it's not logical.
It's not.
Doesn't have to be logical, doesn't have to make sense. But what you may be noticing is there's a lot more flow and freedom to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one more
Less
aspect as
heavy.
well. It's important to name this as well too. I wonder if you have a sense of this. It's when you truly welcome and allow
Mm-hmm.
all of this is passing through you, but yet
Mm-hmm.
also there's an energy that is now available.
Yeah.
All that was locked away as difficult emotion, pain, as you allow it, as it passes through, it's liberated and available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Wow.
Thank you, Raina. Okay, then. Well, hello, Betty. I think maybe will be the last, uh, interaction. Hello, Betty.
Hello, can you hear me well?
Perfectly. I can
Okay.
hear you.
I thank you for your time. I really appreciate you. And I've been doing the releasing and listening to a lot of Lester's lectures for a while now.
Mhm.
And at the beginning, I had a lot of different desires about the world and materialistic things. And then the more I've been releasing, the I lost interest in all of those things.
Mm.
And then now I'm really just interested in the freedom.
Mm.
And I find myself just releasing constantly.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I'm efforting the freedom process or trying to speed things up, but I'm experiencing some kind of resistance or something else. Can't pinpoint exactly.
Of course, of course, of course.
And
Let me
I don't
help you
even.
a little bit. I think I
Thank
see it.
you,
I
thank
think
you.
I see it. Yeah. So, and this is really for everybody. This is such a fundamental and important little piece that you just brought up, Betty. As we have, as we experience letting go and the shifts that happen and the relief, then it's a natural thing that you just want to release everything. You just want to go as far as you can. And I guess that's what you're expressing, Betty, basically.
Yes.
Okay. So what can happen is the desire to control sneaks in, right? So as I am letting go, I want to let go. I want to let go of even more. It becomes a kind of controlling. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
And so letting go does actually have that potential of a hidden trap. In contrast, allowing, welcoming is open-ended. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Exactly. Now, that doesn't mean that letting go is a no-no. Letting go and welcoming are actually the same thing, truly, because whatever we allow, whatever we welcome, will naturally release. That's the essence of it. And so what I've just offered you is, I guess, what I observe to be a very subtle trap that people can fall into, but the simple solution really is to just allow whatever is to be as it is.
Okay.
And let me ask you now, since we've now talked about it, is there anything now that's being felt that you'd like to be more free about?
Well, for some reason, a fear now came.
Oh, perfect.
And I'm not sure. Maybe it's a fear of letting go now. Which is kind of confusing.
Because you're going to do it wrong?
or because I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, okay, so let's just play with that a little bit, shall we?
Okay.
Okay, so notice how fear shows up, what you've called fear. This can show up in the mind with the scenarios, like little films, or memories, stories, beliefs. It can also show up in the body. So which of the two seems to be more powerful in the moment?
It showed up in the body.
Perfect. So let's just focus entirely on what's happening in the body. Notice everything. Just take a moment to make an inventory. Check. Where is tension felt? Where is discomfort?
It's in the chest area.
Okay then. So could you just focus on that and make that your entire focus just for now? What's happening in the chest? And don't forget to breathe. That helps to move things. Just as best you can, could you allow that to be like that? And notice it's already like that. So why not just allow it?
Well, I think I'm resisting that.
Well, okay, then notice the resistance. It's also natural. So could you welcome the resistance? Lean into it. And let's go back and forth a little bit. Notice the fear, how it shows up in the body and the chest. And then when you're ready, just notice the resistance to feeling that.
It's loosening up.
Mm-hmm. Notice the fear. Actually, notice the feeling in the chest. And check for any resistance. And then notice any sensation in the chest. I'm not even giving it the name. And when you're ready, any resistance.
You just left.
Oh. So what's here now?
There's just maybe just a little fear left, but very little.
Well, okay, so notice that you've given that a name. Isn't that just what shows up in the body?
Yeah.
So could you let go of wanting to give that a name? Could you let go of wanting that to mean anything? And by the way, either answer is good. Yes or no is equally okay.
Yes.
And would you? Are you willing?
Yes.
And when?
Now.
So just focus on any sensation remaining in the chest or in the body, anything you'd call discomfort or not pleasant or unwanted. Just notice it. And when you're ready, would you give it permission to be like that for as long as it needs to?
Yes.
And would you give it permission to be like that for as long as it needs to?
Yes.
And when?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, is that it?
Oh no, I mean I feel better. Thank you.
Well, we could go one more round if you'd like. Is there still something going on, or if it's okay, if you want to stop at this point, we're okay too.
I don't have any fear or anything anymore.
Oh, well, that sounds like an excellent place to stop in that
Yeah.
case.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay then. All right then. Well, it's 14 past the hour. We've gone on a little bit, and I'm okay with that. Actually, I'm going to ask one more time. Would anybody else like to go with a question or a gain or a little support? And if not, that's okay. We can end the call. Oh, I see Lex. Perfect. You can step up and say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Lex.
I just wanted to share again
Okay.
from this. I was just, releasing along with everyone. And I was noticing that for me, the emotions, things show up in the body and the mind sort of, gets sent off on stuff because of what's in the body. So I was just focusing on that. But that was a sort of a good pointer for me. But what happened that is the big gain is just I often use, like it's just a feeling as part of my releasing. And I've been kind of spinning out on some stuff. And so this releasing along with everyone, I just was reminded in the really visceral sense of how freeing it is to let the feeling just be its own experience,
Yes.
and not attach it to anything. And I guess sometimes we just need to be reminded of these things. So it was very powerful to like a bunch of stuff just took its hooks out of me from that. So thank you to you, and thank you to everyone who has been working this session.
Oh, it's wonderful to hear that, Lex. Thanks. Sometimes you need to hear it a dozen different times in a dozen different ways, and that's okay too. So, and then sometimes it just clicks, and then freedom. I see you, Maria Teresa. Would you like to raise your hand? Or sorry, would you like to unmute?
Hi, Stephen.
Good to
Thank
see
you for everything.
Sure.
You have helped me a lot, and I appreciate it. I wrote back the email.
Yes, you did. Uh-huh.
Yes. Maybe we can talk.
Sure.
Yes.
Of course.
In private.
In private, I'm happy to
Yes.
do that. That's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I think we're done then. It feels like that. And I thank you all for coming. And I'll put your hand down just for fun. There we go. We'll do this again next week. How about that, everybody? And you can find this on YouTube. I'm also available one-on-one. You can easily find me for that. And yeah, hooray for messy family feelings. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the call there. Thank you, everybody.